Dodsons Racing Insider News. We got the legendary Jack Dodson, Joe Staples, me, Scott Allen.
The legend.
The legend.
The living legend.
That's right. Hey, you know.
Before we get started, I want to wish my daughter a happy birthday. 32 years old today.
Damn.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
That makes him
I'm sorry.
even older.
You have to.
Well, she's working, but she can play with the computer at work. So
She can.
So
It was a pretty good race this weekend.
great racing this weekend.
All right,
Kyle Busch was a half of a straightaway away from winning his fourth.
I mean, tell me about it. I was pulling for him, to be honest. And I'm not a Kyle Busch fan, but nobody hasn't done it in a long time. I would have loved to see it, and I thought he was going to do it. But I think some of that, I don't know how to say it, but being a new crew chief, he probably didn't understand. You know, normally when you have a relationship with somebody, you kind of feel the stress in their voice of like how much you need to save. And some of that is just the growing pains between the two. But man, those guys are still hot. I mean, he wasn't upset. He was in the top 30 in points, but now he's not. He's got 15 points to go. He should be able to easily get into.
I mean, he's gaining 10 points a week, just
Right.
about or more, and he's going to get there.
Right.
But you know, it's like we said the last 2 weeks. Somewhere in there, you're going to have to start survival mode because you don't want to mess up something. I'm wondering if you shouldn't have done a little bit of that right there and said, okay, just back way out of it. What happens, happens. And,
He'd have won.
Yeah.
Which he had said and made the comment when he got out of the car. If I'd have just knew that the 22 was definitely going to run out, I would have started saving a long time ago. But he did make the comment, I usually hear more of them stress more to me that I need to save, and they didn't stress as much. But I think that's just because that's that new crew chief ordeal, you know? Where if he'd have stressed a little more to him, if he'd have backed off in the beginning, he could have made that up. I mean, I don't know how much he had saved up to that point. It couldn't have been that much because he was chasing the 22. Him and the 22 were playing that cat and mouse game.
Yeah, well, the 22 would pull out a little bit.
He didn't need much more fuel.
No, he didn't. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad that you get to that point. And I talked to my son, and he said, well, we finished third.
I know, right?
We salvaged something out of this train wreck.
Yeah, and they were running 15th. I was glad. I'm sure it was like a shot in the arm, regardless whether they didn't have a third place car, but they still finished third, and it's got to feel good to those guys.
They needed to get back into that, and so they did. Kyle Busch won the truck race on Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean, what more? You know, I don't guess the guy is mad when he's done one. What? He won both races the week before.
That's 6 in a row.
So
6 races.
When he's on top of his game, he usually sweeps the series. You know, or the truck racing, or the Infinity. You know,
he's right there.
Yeah.
He's doing a great job.
Doing a heck of a job.
And Ryan Blaney got his win in the Xfinity race. And lo and behold, after the race, them Roush boys were at each other again.
Hey, it keeps it interesting.
And I don't know what that crew chief said to Bubba Wallace when he went by. Did you see where Bubba grabbed him by the arm and spun him around?
No.
The crew chief, Chris Busch's crew chief, walked by Bubba Wallace, and the crew chief said, all I did was say good race, but I know that ain't what he said. And he went by him, and Bubba Wallace grabbed him and spun him around. And that was, who knows what's going on. But like I said, I would have loved to have been in that meeting Monday morning down at Roush.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, I wouldn't want that turmoil in my team, but it is fun to watch. Because, you know, I mean, you want to see somebody passionate about how they run and how they finish, you know? I mean, I don't want my drive. I don't care if it's a teammate or not. I want him to go after it. I don't care who it is, you know? I mean,
right.
So I love it. I love seeing it and seeing the passion in those guys that they.
Yep, he's got it. I mean, those two guys. And what about silly season? The silly season has started. I don't care what anybody says.
It gets earlier and earlier every year, it seems like.
Let's take it step number one. Elliott Sadler going to Junior Motorsports for next year with his sponsor.
I didn't see that one coming.
Well, I didn't.
Actually, I thought there was another year on his contract.
No, he was going to be out after this year. Whether there was another year or not.
Honestly, I mean, compared to none of the Roush cars have really ran well, but except the Xfinity cars have done well.
Yep.
I mean, Chris Buescher's won a couple of races. Ross,
Bubba Wallace.
He's
run. He's run. No, he hasn't won yet, but he's run up front a lot.
What's his name with diabetes?
Ryan Reed won Daytona.
Right. He's won and has had chances to win a few other races.
Right.
But Elliott, who? I mean, he's been nowhere. I don't.
It's coming to the point, and I hate to say it, but it's coming to the point where Elliott is going to have to put up or get out.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you can't drive for Kevin Harvick and Richard Childress and Joe Gibbs and Jack Roush and keep moving from team to team to team.
And not producing anything.
Well, I mean, he's ran good at Childress. He ran really well at Harvick's, but that team was absorbed by RCR, and I don't know why he left there. And it's just like he's just playing. It's just like you think the grass is greener, and he just keeps jumping to team, and if you just can't.
How much of it though is greener pastures for Elliott Sadler?
But Joe Gibbs, he was at Joe Gibbs for 2 years.
Yeah, but his contract went out there.
Right, and he chose to move.
He chose to go to Roush. But what I'm saying is, how much is greener pastures, and how much does the sponsor say, we're going to buy you a ride somewhere? Chase Elliott is out at Junior Motorsports after this year.
Right.
So
I'm surprised though. I don't. Is he going to be out, or is he going to run some?
He's not going to. From what I understand, there's no plan for him to run anything next year in the Xfinity series. But I'm sure he may show up in a car somewhere along the line. But how much of that is? Well, I'm not even going to go into the money thing, but I think that played a whole lot into it, and the fact that One Main Financial is so big into Elliott Sadler.
Mm-hmm.
We got him a ride, and then you can't keep going from these top teams and not producing something.
Well, you're going to run out of places to go. And I don't know how much money First Main Financial is putting into it. I mean, and that could contribute to.
Well, it contributed a lot to where he ended up. I mean.
Well, I mean, is it contributing to how well the car is performing because of the lack of resources?
That I don't know.
But that would be my question.
While we're on the silly season, Rob Kaufman from MWR, half owner in MWR, has now decided he's going to purchase into Ganassi. How much, we don't know.
I don't think we will find out.
And Felix Abada says he ain't going nowhere. So we know he's not out. Mm-hmm. So, and then the little rumblings that you hear along the way. I mean, it's unbelievable. I got friends down there that are concerned about what the future is going to hold for them because they're not really sure. Michael Waltrip is left right now. If you look at the picture, he's left with a car, no sponsor. I guess he's got Reagan. Well, Reagan's not even signed for next year, so he don't have a driver.
Drivers are a dime a dozen. You can find a driver.
Well, I mean, we found that out in arena cars. But
ouch.
But
I guess if you got
there's a couple of them like that now, and I ain't calling.
Oh, you're not talking about me, though.
I ain't calling names. We're gonna let that go. But it's funny to me how this is. And then they're saying that Clint has already made the comment that he's going to be somewhere next year, so he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And he's going to have a teammate from an old teammate he used to be, Martin Truex. Now, does that mean Truex?
That's
going to be out at Furniture Row, and I just don't.
Well, somebody messaged me last week when we posted some of that stuff about Rob Kaufman and stuff that they thought that the 5 and Clint Bowyer was going to Furniture Row. Now, I don't see that.
I don't see it either. I do not see that either.
They were saying that Michael was taking 5-hour Clint, and they were going to and make it a 2-car team at Furniture Row is what somebody had messaged me. And I said, I don't see that. I'm thinking the 15 and Clint are going. And I didn't hear what you were saying, a 3-car team at Ganassi, because Felix had made the comment, well, 3 cars are better than 2. He didn't say 4 cars. He didn't say more cars. He said 3 cars. So that, to me, sort of indicates that there's probably going to be 3 cars.
I'm hearing 4. I'm hearing 4 for next year. But again, you don't know. Nothing's been. You don't know until it actually comes out.
Until something's been signed.
But you hear everybody's rumblings in the shops and down there, right, because they're all talking about what's going to happen to me. Even the Ganassi folks don't even. They're trying to figure out what's going to happen. What's going to happen to us? Yeah. If they bring their people in, what's going to happen to us?
Now, do you think either one of those 2 teams, when we're talking about Furniture Row and Ganassi, are going to go to Toyota?
No.
You don't think so? Well, I mean, Furniture Row's already made a comment that they're looking and they're entertaining a different
Furniture Row may, if the money is there for them to do that. I don't see Ganassi doing it.
Really? I would think that would be a great opportunity to become the second main team for Toyota when, so far as GM's concerned, and obviously they got a great product, but they're down the list. You got Richard Childress's 4 cars, you got Hendricks's 4 cars, then you got Stuart Haas's 4 cars before they even get to Furniture Row or Ganassi. I mean, you're talking 12 cars in front of you.
Yeah, but you would still be taking the Ganassi cars away from the Hendrick Motorsports, and they're tied to Hendrick Motorsports.
They are now, yeah. Was it last year or year before last? They were at RCR, and then they moved over to them.
So they're getting motors, and they're getting a lot of technical help.
I think somebody is going to go. I mean,
I'm
Toyota's
sure
got to get somebody, but they got to get somebody big. I mean, we can kind of go into the whatever. Eric Jones in Toyota and Joe Gibbs. He's already made the comment that they have a plan for him to go to Cup, and he's going to run some Cup race full time next year in the Xfinity car, and some Cup races with Joe Gibbs because he can run 7 races or 5 races.
7 races in there. Oh, maybe 5. It may be.
I can't remember. In a Joe Gibbs car, but they're full. They have nowhere to put a 15. They can't have a 15. Now, does that mean Denny is out, or does it mean that they're going to affiliate themselves and maybe sell technical support and stuff like Hendricks, RCR does to one of those other teams like a Furniture Row or Ganassi and put Eric Jones?
I'm sure one of those teams. I really don't see it being Ganassi.
To me, that would be a perfect.
It would be a perfect situation. I understand what you're saying. It would be a good situation.
I mean, you keep Clint. You'd have. Damn, I'm looking at them and I can't think of their names. You got the 42 to 1, and then you would have Eric Jones as a sort of 8 cars sharing information with Joe Gibbs and engines and chassis.
There could be some stuff being hidden behind that we don't know about, but I'm just going on what little rumblings that I've heard. That it's a possibility.
Well, I guess we ought to call Jerry.
All right, I'm gonna call him, and you can since you've been talking with him.
Well, I just said, hey, would you want to do the show? He said, yeah. So that's
all right, gonna call
no routes found.
Do what?
I don't know what that was.
Did he say? Sound like he said.
I think it was like a voicemail thing.
No routes found.
No.
He must be on the phone if it goes directly to the voicemail like that.
Okay, well, we'll keep on talking racing about last weekend.
Let's see. Let's make sure. 708 362 no 08.
08.
Calling the wrong number.
Is he really?
Oh, he don't have those. You know, he don't want to get those bifocals.
Don't do that.
Bifocals. It's probably trifocals. It ain't bifocals.
All right, Joe.
But that is an iPhone 1, so it is hard to.
Joe.
Well, if it was a 6,
it's
it'd be
still
smarter.
rotary die.
Joe?
Sorry.
You get him. You know, we should get him one of them. You know how they have those? There's one that's got the old school phone that plugs into your thing.
Yeah.
The old receiver.
Joe, you and Scott both.
How you pronounce his name?
Bonkowski.
Bonkowski.
Sorry, Joe.
They do make the magnifying glass that you can, so you can.
One day I'm gonna buy me a new car.
One day.
One day, yeah. We won't even have phones anymore when he does it.
Hello?
Jerry, how you doing today? Jerry?
Good, how you doing? Yeah,
Hey, this is Scott Allen with the Jack Dodsons Racing Insider News.
yeah.
Hey, bud. We're live on the air. We got Jerry Bonkowski with
NBCSN.
So you write about a bunch of different sports, but mainly the NASCAR?
Both NASCAR and HRA, pretty much the motorsports, I do it.
Well, good. So what got you into writing about sports in general?
Well, I've been a sports fan ever since I was born, and, you know, when I was in high school, I quickly realized I had some athletic talent, but not enough to sustain me, so I figured if I wanted to remain in the world of sports, one of the other ways to do it would be as a writer. So I started out when I was about 15 years old, and I've been doing it ever since.
So do you do you go to all the races?
No, I used to, when I was with Yahoo and with ESPN, I used to average about 26 to 30 races a year. And now that I was NBC, most of my work is done at home. I do go to some races, but the majority of it's from home now.
Jerry, one of the things that we got a lot of things going on in NASCAR right now. If you could sit back and think about it, what are the 5 big stories in your mind from this year in NASCAR to really, you know, that's really made a big difference?
Well, I think the first one obviously has to be Kyle Busch. I mean, to see what he's done and how he's come back from that injury, you know, it's never been done before. So, I mean, that's number one. I think Joey Logano winning the Daytona 500 is number 2. I think that, you know, looking at other stories through the year, I mean, there's been some good stories, but it hasn't been as, you know, as eventful of a year as it was like last year, the last couple of years. But, I mean, I think another story that I heard that was pivotal or as important was Kurt Busch's situation earlier in the year when he was suspended from NASCAR for 3 races. You know, there's, let's see, what else would I say? I'm trying to think. Two other ones. Then you give me the catch that one. Well, Tony Stewart, that's another one. That's a huge one, actually. I mean, Stewart, you're having the season that he had and struggling and can't buy a break. I mean, this is the worst season he's ever had, and you know, it's interesting to see how this week develops for him, because obviously this Sunday the race together is the 1-year anniversary of the Kevin Award Junior tragedy. So, you know, that's a big story to look at. And you know, there's some guy, Jeff Gordon, of course, retiring. I mean, this is his final year, so that'll probably be my top 5. I mean, there's other stories like, you know, Carl Edwards moving over to JCR. You know, there's the Roush Finley situation. How those guys are just they can't buy the luck even if they wanted to. They have to struggle over there. So, you know, it's been a I don't want to say a great year. It's been a good year, but it's not been as good as, you know, maybe some of the last few years that we've had in terms of news stories. But that's certainly could change as we go forward from, you know, when the state comes. I mean, this will be you know, this will be the second year of the new format, and it's anything like what we saw last year, that this is going to be a very wild taste going forward.
Now, I think with the fact that all Kyle's got to do is get into the top 30, and I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. That takes one spot away. I'm thinking Watkins Glen may have a winner that comes out of somewhere. That's going to take another spot away, and that's going to really cut it down to basically 2 people. And I just can't. Yes, sir. But I just don't see. You know, that's going to be an interesting time when we get to Richmond to see who's going to be where and how that's going to fall. And beyond the fact that Jeff Gordon in his final season he is having all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
Well, he has. I mean, obviously he hasn't won, but you think that in his final year that he really dominated. He hasn't. But there's still plenty of races left. I mean, he's got 4 more races to the state, and he's got 10 more in the state. He's got 14 races left to go, and look at Tony Stewart in 2011. He had a terrible regular season, didn't win a race at all. Yeah. He gets into the state, winds up winning 5 races, and wins the championship. So I'm not going to tell any driver short, if he has struggles, up to now. I mean, I won't tell Jeff Gordon short. I won't tell Tony Stewart short. I could very easily see in these remaining 4 races, both Gordon and Stewart getting a win, and that could really turn things upside down in terms of who makes the stage and who doesn't make the stage. Because if they win, they're all but essentially in at that point. So, you look at where we're at right now. We're going to Watson's Glen, which is kind of a wild card track right up to them for the picture, which is definitely a favorite of a lot of the drivers. And I think Gordon, I think, has a really good chance of winning it at Bristol. I think Stewart has a good chance of winning at Michigan. And then he only gets to Richmond at Darlington too. So that's 5 races left on the stage. But Darlington, that's going to be a wild affair as well too. So I still think in these races you can get a win out of both Stewart and Gordon, and that would essentially get them into the stage. But there's other drivers who haven't won either. I mean, Murray hasn't won, Kane hasn't won, Dennis Hansen hasn't won, Greg Bickle hasn't won. And there's a number of drivers out there that haven't won. If they can win one of these next 5, they could definitely take up the who makes the stage and who doesn't make the stage.
You got that right. Now, you're close to the sport in many ways, but how do you take this thing with Rob Coughlin and Michael Waltrip and the Ganassi? How do you take that, and what do you see coming out of all that?
Well, it's interesting you're asking it, because I kind of heard a little bit about this a couple months back, and a friend of mine told me, don't be surprised if you're going to see a little movement in the NWR. And I didn't really, he tried to explain to me what he thought was going to happen, and it turns out he was totally spot on. Rob Coughlin is a very, very astute businessman, very successful. He sees an opportunity to go to Chip Ganassi Racing and buy out to buy his minority share. And there's all kinds of things that can stem from that. I mean, they very easily do a deal where the Ganassi goes into Toyota. There's possibly they can merge both the Ganassi Racing and Michael Waltrip Racing. I mean, there's just so many unknowns right now, and Rob Coughlin, to his credit, and being a good businessman, he's doing, he's keeping these things under wraps, but it's only intriguing us more and more about what potentially can happen. Now, of course, NASCAR, I don't know if it should allow him to maintain his ownership with NWR. I don't know if he has to give that up. He does buy just about his interest in Chip Ganassi Racing. It would be interesting to see one guy be owner on the teams, but I don't think you're going to see that happen. But I think that when all is said and done, you're either going to see Michael Waltrip Racing merge with Chip Ganassi Racing, this is my opinion, or I wouldn't be surprised to see Michael Waltrip Racing merge in first in a row, because, and ironically enough, he reunited with Martin Truex Jr. I mean, that was actually something we heard earlier today in the news, and that makes a lot of sense. First in a row is looking to have a second team or second time in their organization, but they don't have the financial resources. But if they merge together with Michael Waltrip Racing, you have Martin Truex Jr. as their driver, and then you have David Reagan, and potentially if Brian Vickers comes back, they could have a very strong and solid effort. And the other thing too is Furniture Row is looking to move from Chevrolet to Toyota, so that's that's where Michael Waltrip Racing is he's been part of since 2007. They were the first Toyota team to come to the Sprint Cup Series. So you look at all that, and then, I mean, this is going to make we talk about silly season about how so much speculation goes on and hypothesizing, and that. I mean, we're only 21 races into the season. There's going to be a lot more of a silly season between now and the end of the year for sure.
Lost my train of thought there.
Well, with all there is going to be a lot of movement from what I understand. We got, and a lot of movement as far as sponsors. And I think it was really interesting yesterday when we found out that Junior Motorsport, Elliott Sadler was going to Junior Motorsports. I thought that was kind of unusual.
Yeah, it's a great move for Elliott. I know Elliott pretty well, and he's kind of I don't know if it was bounced around, but ever since he moved to the Sprint Cup Series to the Xfinity Series. He was with Kevin Harvick in 2011, I think it was. Then when Harvick over the CHI, he went over to race for Richard Phillips in 2012. He went to still get races for the 2013 and 2014 season. Then he moved to Roush Fenway for 2015. So, the fact that Chase Elliott will be moving over to Sprint Cup Series to replace Jeff Gordon, that leaves a perfect spot open for Elliott Never. And don't forget, a lot of people were writing about this yesterday, and I actually did some digging, and I kind of remembered this, and sure enough, it was right. Elliott Never actually did race for Motorsports for 5 races in 2010, so he's not really a stranger to the organization. He's not a stranger to Dale Earnhardt Jr. or Kelly Earnhardt, his sister. So I think it's definitely a good move on his part. And the other thing too is, there's no secret that Roush Fenway is struggling. Both the Cup Series and not so much in the H1 Series. It's been pretty good in the H1 Series, but the Cup Series program has obviously been struggling the last year plus. So I think that Elliott's probably looking at what does this mean for me in the future? Elliott's what, 37, I believe it is, 38, something like that.
Yeah.
He wants to get that Spring Cup eventually, and I think his chances and his opportunities are a lot better if he does go over to JRM, because he's working with Regan Smith, he's working with Dale Earnhardt Jr., and there's been a lot of rumors, rumblings, whatever you want to call it. JRM may eventually field a Cup team in 3 or 4 years. So, it's a good move, I think, all in all. He's taking one of the main financial with him that's a sponsor. They've been a sponsor of his for a long, long time ago, back to the City Group days, back around 2003, 2004. So, I think that Elliott made a very smart move, and I think he's been very successful over there.
Do you think that's a kind of a make or break situation for Elliott? I mean, he's kind of running out of car owners to go to, but I think it would be in good equipment, and then kind of the excuses will be out the window.
Yeah, I don't think it's a make or break. I mean, I think that he still has a lot of talent. He still has a lot of time as a race car driver, and this is such a very fickle sport. I mean, to give you an example, and I'm not, this is total speculation, hypothesizing, whatever you want to call it, but let's say that he goes, he's with JRM, and let's say one of the Hendricks Motorsports drivers gets hurt. Let's just say, I mean, I'm not going to mention names, but if somebody gets hurt in his house for a few races next year or whatever, where would they look to get a replacement driver? And what better place to go to than JRM Motorsports? Regan Smith is going to fill in driver for number drivers. When Tony Stewart was sidelined last year, Regan took over for, it's hard over here, Dave. Regan took over when Tony was in the midst of the whole junior tragedy. So, the one thing is JRM Motorsports gives Elliott Taylor an opportunity to be a fill-in driver if that necessity or that situation arises. So, again, I think it's a smart move for him. I think he'll have some very good resources and good talent to help him. JRM Motorsports has been a building block, if you will, where guys can really take their careers to the next level. Chase Elliott is first example, guys another example. So, again, I can't say enough. I think that Elliott made a really smart move by going to JRM Motorsports.
Well, Jerry, we appreciate you taking some time out of your day today and spending some time with us. Hopefully we can have you back on the show maybe later in the season or when the chase gets started and have you back on sometime.
Sure, I'd love to. I enjoyed it, and thank you for inviting me on. And, feel free. I mean, if you ever need me on, feel free to me. I'd be more happy to join you again.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. Thanks, Jerry.
Okay, take care, man. We'll just talk to you later then.
All right.
Bye.
That was pretty interesting. I mean, he had a lot of insight and kind of thinking the way I was thinking a little bit about the whole
MWR and Furniture Road. I mean, that makes sense that would happen.
I mean, I'm sure Michael Waltrip is still pursuing some sponsorship. I mean, he's not going.
But the thing that concerns me, well, it doesn't concern me because it doesn't have anything to do with me. But the thing that would still be up in the air is how logistically possible is that?
Well, Michael goes from one good financial backer to another.
Yeah, but Furniture Row is in Denver, Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
He's over here in North Carolina.
Well, obviously the building's for sale, so he's not going to have
So how does
anything
how does that work? You know,
I think you would just take sponsorship to Furniture Row and just be part of it.
but see now who, if you put those two teams together, where the because Furniture Row sometimes does not go all the way back to Denver to work on their cars. They go to RCR.
Well, they're sharing information.
Yeah, so they go to RCR and work on the cars there. Like if it's a quick turnaround to another track, that's where they go. So you have two teams out there in Colorado where,
if they put affiliation together and go to Toyota and do something with Gibbs.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
I think that would be a great partnership.
I agree.
You got to have somewhere to put Eric Jones unless somebody's coming out of Joe Gibbs Racing. I would have liked to ask him what he thought about the whole Eric Jones, what his insight would have been on that. But we run out of time because we got to call Lenny, or is Lenny calling us?
Lenny's supposed to be calling us. I sent him the numbers and everything. He said he'd call. So
the next we're going to have Lenny. How do you pronounce his last
Lenny
name?
Bataki.
Lenny Bataki. He's kind of been around the sport for a long time. I was doing some research on him, and I don't know if I could pull it up. And he was president of Richard Childress Racing for like 6 years. He was vice president at Gateway for a couple of years.
He's been around. I mean,
very interesting, and he's got.
Gateway Computers?
No, Gateway Racetrack in St. Louis.
Threw me off there for a minute.
See, there is more than one Gateway. Back in your day when Gateway started the computers.
Oh, wait a minute, who's older?
Well, and you're still trying to figure out computers now.
Well, there's a lot of truth to
he admitted that earlier.
Yeah.
And I don't admit a whole lot.
I thought that, but
You don't admit anything. I think, he said his wife fell with a bad knee. I think he shoved her and knocked her down. I'm going to start that rumor.
I don't need no more rumors.
And it won't be that hard. Let's pull Lenny. He is, he's actually director of communications at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And the host of
PRN at the track.
PRN at the track. Yeah. So he's done a little bit of everything. He's kind of done like every job in the sport. Run the racetrack, run a race team, broadcast it. So he's like a jack of all and a master of none. Jack of all trades and a master of none.
But he's the head man of communications at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
I wonder if he can approve our media
I don't know, but I think we're gonna have to ask him. Maybe not on air.
But we should go and maybe do a show, or when we go down there, we'll have to go over and check out the whole PRN.
That's a neat situation. You haven't seen that before? It's in the main tower there on about the 8th floor.
Oh, is it? I thought it was down at the bottom beside the ticket stand.
They moved it up.
Okay. That'd be interesting. I actually.
Hopefully he'll call.
Lenny.
We've had a lot of this. We're going to call and then don't. I'm wondering if it doesn't have something to do with Joe.
What do you mean,
what did Joe do?
Huh?
Actually, when we were by ourselves, we had a pretty good
talking.
Yeah, I heard. I listened to it. I heard bits and pieces of
Some
things that were said.
We had our largest crowd.
That's right. So we got Eric Jones going full-time Xfinity, some Cup races, which certainly that's going to be in. Let's give a shout out. Kenny Wallace making his final. He says it's his final run in an Xfinity car. He had a good run in a Joe Gibbs car and a Toyota. I'm happy for him. Kenny is such a likable guy.
and he'll be racing dirt.
Oh yeah,
he'll be just
until
like
he
Kenny,
dies.
like Kenny
Him and
Schrader.
Kenny, yeah,
Kenny Schrader.
I would love to have him on the show one day.
I would like to get him on there too.
I tried. Probably should just call his fan club, and
Kenny Schrader runs all those races. It just amazes me how he can run 7 races a week.
Yeah. Oh well, wait a minute. Now, what about the truck news with Gray Galding running for Kyle Busch Motorsports?
We kind of got word that he was going to be in a Toyota or somewhere along the line, but I didn't think Kyle Busch Motorsports. And you look at
Krispy Kreme's going to be the backer.
Well, but you knew that was going to happen. I mean, I think some reason Krispy Kreme is all over them, but it's interesting to me that with KBM has Chris Bell and
that kid
Kaz Grala drives for him in late models, and then they bring Gray Galding in, and they let Justin Boston go. Justin Boston was a pretty good race car driver too. They let him go. It's just amazing that KBM, they just keep bringing guys in.
Well, the opportunities they're giving people and giving them a good equipment, and they're doing well. I mean, I don't know if anybody's really got in their stuff that hasn't done well.
Chris Bell, I mean, he's 3 races. He's already got a win. Kaz Grala has won in his late model. So
won the big. What was that? Oh, the big car series race, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was that in the Kyle Busch?
No, that wasn't in the Kyle Busch car. But I mean, he's run in Kyle Busch's car in the late model races, and he's won one of those.
Hey man, I mean, I can't imagine what it's like when you're 15 to 16 years old, because that's how old Kaz is, and we've known him for a few years, so he's been doing this for a while. When Kyle Busch calls you up and says, "Hey, you want to drive my late model?" You're gonna say, "Yeah, but hell yeah, I'll be right there. Do I need to come tomorrow? I'm driving on my way. I know I'm from Ohio, wherever he's from.
He's from Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. He's along Boston.
Yeah.
So he's got a long ways to go.
I'll never forget. I talked to him at Southern National a couple of years. First time I ever met Kaz, and he didn't have a driver's license at this point.
He still don't have a driver's license. He don't get it until January.
So anyway, I thought he already had, but anyway. He don't have a driver's license, and I talked to him at Southern National. I had been talking to him about trying to get him on the show, or get him, and we talked back and forth. And then I met him there. They had a problem with the car. They didn't make the feature, and I said, "Well, you gonna hang around and watch the race?" He says, "No, I can't hang around now that I'm not in the race." He says, "I've got a long ride back to Massachusetts tonight. I got to be in school tomorrow morning."
And what a good kid.
And they drove through the night. He got home around 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning and went to school. And he's a good kid.
All right, so we got a question here. A good show. Can the 1 and a 42 have a third car?
Yes.
They can. Any team can have up to 4 cars.
Right.
And then any of those people that drive in that team cannot have another cup team. Because that would... Why, I don't know, but they can't. For whatever reason, like Dale Jr. wants a cup team. He can't have a cup team in his name.
No.
Because he's already affiliated driving for a team that has 4 teams. So he cannot have another one. JW be a good fit on the 1 and 42 team if they go to Toyotas. JW. I don't know what JW stands for. Eric Jones, maybe. Eric Jones, I think, would be a good fit at Ganassi if they went to Toyota and did a thing. I think Eric Jones would be a good fit of anybody. I think anybody that had a car would love to have Eric Jones, because this kid has just got some raw talent.
And if they do go to Toyota, he's got 7 races or 5 races in a Gibbs car. He will have those races.
And Cup?
In Cup.
No, he's just 1.
No, if he's not running.
Yeah.
If he's not running for Rookie of the Year,
I can't remember if it's 5 or 7.
I can't either. It's 5 or 7. They get 5 or 7 races.
Only for a rookie.
Only for the rookie, and then so he can have 5 cars. Like Hendrick had 5 cars at Martinsville, and 5 cars at some other tracks. Right. You can have 5 cars, but only 7. It's only for 5 or 6 races, whatever.
Right.
And
but you know, it was kind of interesting because I heard they keep asking Jeff about whether he's going to run some races next year, and he said it would only be run through Hendrick Motorsports. But I don't know how they would. Maybe because he'll be a rookie. How can they run a Hendrick Motorsports car?
it may not be a Hendrick
Team.
affiliated team.
Whatever.
I mean, a Hendrick owned team, but it will be a Hendrick affiliated team. But you know, it'd be just like with.
He owns part of the 48 and his team, so I don't.
But it'd be just like if he went and drove the 51, it'd be just like it is at Childress.
Yeah, but you know what? I think because he said specifically in a statement that it would be for Hendrick Motorsports.
Okay.
But it being Chase, that being his rookie year, could they still run 5 cars at 5 or 6 races?
You can't be running for Rookie of the Year and have more than. All right, but so here's the thing. Follow me what I'm saying here.
Oh, I understand what you're saying.
Okay. I think what's going to happen is if he does drive again, he will drive a Hendrick affiliated team, the 51, the 46. Both of those are Hendrick affiliated teams.
Right.
The Ganassi cars are Hendrick affiliated if they stay with Hendrick. They're affiliated. It's like the 33 in the Cup. That's really Joe Falk's car,
right?
But it's all Childress when he puts his drivers in it.
Right.
That's the way that'll be. It'll be listed as somebody else's car, but it'll all be Hendrick involved. Yeah. So I see that happen.
Yeah. It'll definitely be. It's definitely going to be interesting to how all that's going to shake out.
And I see it happening one time.
Martinsville?
No. Indianapolis.
You think Indy?
He loves Indianapolis. He loves Indianapolis.
He'd like to have that one more win.
If it happens, it'll be Indianapolis. I mean, yeah, he's won the most races at Martinsville. He won a bunch of races at Martinsville. He's won a bunch of races at every racetrack. Yeah. But I think he has this passion for Indy.
Well, that was his goal in the beginning.
Yeah.
Should we just call Shawn and skip Lenny for now?
Might as well. Hope we don't get Shawn in the bathroom or nothing. That won't be good.
Well, it'll take him a while because he's gimped up.
Well, he can't be but so gimped up. He finished second in both races the other night.
Man, I don't know how he done it. I mean,
and didn't he have a brace on his arm?
He had a brace on this arm here.
Did Terry melt the asphalt in front of his pits walking back and forth? I heard his crew chief got a dirty look the race before when he was only supposed to not be around any other cars, not pass anybody, and only run a few laps. And he run for like 10 or 12 laps, and he was staying real close to the guy who was running just in front of him. And I think his wife looked at him and went.
I got tickled.
It was like time to park it.
The golf cart got a lot of activity because everybody was making sure he didn't have to walk very far to do anything.
Yeah, that was the week before that too. Yeah. He was in the golf cart that week running around.
Yeah. I was standing at my turn and a car pulls up and I'm like, "Hey, buddy, I can't let anybody on the track right now." He says, "Oh, I'm here to pick up Shawn, so he won't have to walk up to the top of the track." So I let him come on so they could load him up in the car and take him out.
Right, I'm going to let you introduce him.
I guess I better.
Hi, this is Shawn at Signs and Graphics to Go and the Hitchhiker. If I'm not answering this phone, it means I'm probably tied up working on something. So please leave a name, number, and a brief message, and I'll call you back as soon as possible.
So if you need some graphics, call Shawn Balluzzo.
Please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, Shawn, when you get finished doing whatever you're doing, give us a call back on this number. We really like to talk to you. Talk to you later, man.
So you need some graphics. You know, Shawn does some graphics. Shawn's kind of into a little bit of anything and everything.
I'm going to tell you, he's always into something.
And he's been around Langley for a long time. I remember racing. I mean, those guys used to probably have the most fun back in the late model days. We used to listen to them on a scanner, and they had a bunch of kids kind of working. Of course, I was a kid at the time. Still am a kid, but those guys, they used to laugh and joke and carry on the radio more than anybody I know. Everybody else took stuff serious, but Shawn and his guys ain't. They didn't take stuff serious.
I remember one night we were racing at Southampton, and Shawn was racing
probably
somewhere on that same Saturday night. He was racing somewhere else, and they evidently got finished a whole lot faster than we did. He shows up at Southampton. This is when we were dirt. He showed up at Southampton and got in somebody's dirt car and run a race in the dirt car. And finished pretty good. If I remember correctly, he finished pretty good. And yeah, but it seemed like to me he could just about drive anything and do well.
Yeah, he's been around a long time.
All right, well, what's new? What else are we going to talk about while we're waiting on people not to call us?
We talked about the Eric Jones going. He's going to have. They haven't announced who the sponsor will be, but he will be full-time Xfinity car for Joe Gibbs Racing. He's going to run some races, some Cup races. Don't know how many. I don't know who this kid is. I guess he's a Cody
Coughlin. His daddy owns Jegs.
His dad or his grandfather?
Well, I think his.
Oh no, you're probably right. You're right.
Yeah, I think his grandfather. I think it's his dad. He owns Jegs, and
of course they're big into the pro stock drag race.
But Cody, he went the opposite direction and went to NASCAR, and he's trying to get started in NASCAR. I think he's run some ARCA cars.
Well, they have a lot of NASCAR parts and stuff that they sell too.
Right. I'm just saying he went as far as his racing's concerned. He went to the NASCAR side,
So he's
where a lot of them are drag races.
Part-time basis. Won 2 poles, Chicago and Talladega. Had his best effort at Talladega this spring and nearly won in his first attempt on a road course.
And look who he's driving for at Michigan. Kyle Busch Motorsports. So
another, young guy getting a great opportunity. I mean, you got to give it to him. He kind of took the place of what Harvick did in the Truck Series, really. I can assure you, I'll bet you that Kyle is not making any money on that truck team.
I wouldn't think so.
I mean,
he sold his.
One time he was about to give up and get rid of it all because it was just costing too much money.
And he sold his Xfinity operation, really. He sold all that over back to Gibbs. And
I think this is just what he wasn't spending the money that Joe Gibbs was putting out. I remember him making a comment. He wasn't running Joe Gibbs motors because Joe Gibbs wanted too much money for the motors. He was running Pro Motors or whoever. But, I mean, if you want to run with the best, you got to, and I'm sure the sponsor wasn't paying that type of money, but they must have because they stepped up and moved over there. And what about the deal with Matt Crafton and who did he get entangled with? That's not a regular in the Truck Series. Brad Keselowski.
Brad Keselowski, yeah.
And they went 3 wide there, and it just kind of looks like one of those racing incidents. I didn't get to see a video there. It looked like they got in a little scuffle, or they had a conversation.
Yeah.
Afterwards. Yeah.
And it's like I really don't think Keselowski intended to wreck him.
No.
But it's pretty bad when a guy who's not a part of the regular series comes out and wrecks the guy who is leading the points.
Yeah. And he's having a great year.
Yeah. And you have a habit of people listening to that and saying, okay.
And he won it the last 2 years, right?
Yeah. But the bad part about it is his driver Reddick is second in points.
Right, and that added, and that's what he said, and I don't think, and I'm sure he probably looking back don't really think that Brad might race him a little harder or something, but Brad's driver's not, he's second in points, but he's not a championship caliber situation at this point in time.
I don't think so either.
He's having a great year. He's doing well. But it was interesting. And I'd be upset too. I mean, I'd be mad if I was leading the points and somebody wrecked me.
I can understand in your case if you ever got to the front of the points, I'd be upset too.
Exactly.
I mean, that was, you know, hard as it is. For you,
I can't imagine somebody would have to do that.
I mean, in your case, if you finish a race and somebody getting ready to finish a race and somebody takes you out, I'd be bad. I mean, because how many did you finish?
Not many. Not as many as I didn't finish, I can tell you that. For sure.
I'm going to really miss the arena cars, him not being in the arena cars this year. I'm going to miss that. Because at least I knew when I went up there, something interesting might happen.
Hey, you never know. Somebody might call me.
Huh?
Somebody might call me. You never know.
Oh, yeah, you one of them hired guns now.
Yeah, right. Well, I keep my helmet in the truck. I'm ready to go.
I did that for a long time, too.
No, nobody ever called
me.
me.
Like the seat fillers, right?
I kept my helmet and driver suit and everything in my car for maybe 2 or 3 years after I'd sold my car. And I said, well, you know, maybe someday somebody will call. I never got that phone call. I never received that call.
Well, Gary kept bugging me about driving his cart. I drove it last Saturday that I was over at the racetrack. And, man, it's hard. I was like, I wonder if who I was thinking, who here would get out of their cart and let me drive it? I mean, I know one person, but if I'd have went over and asked, he would have probably let me. But I was like, no, I don't want to start it because I'll be over here every week. I'll be for sure. I'll be over there every daggone week trying to run.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be good for your life. What's left of it after you start.
Right. Yeah, I was like, it was, man, this is fun. But
well, Joe, you were out there at Langley the other night. All kinds of fun. Tell us what all happened. So we got time to talk about Langley right now.
Well, it was some good racing. I mean, the modifieds, they were definitely having a hard time getting settled in there.
No, really?
A little bit and quite a few wrecks, but definitely some good racing there. Shawn, which was supposed to be on the show, finished second, and to see him out there on the track in the condition that he was in, I mean, it was everything he had. It looked like just to stand up.
I can imagine.
And for him to get in that car and do what he did.
Well, let's tell the people that what happened to Shawn is I don't know what he was doing on the ladder. Yeah. Shawn is short anyway, so he needed a tall ladder just to get to the top of the door.
He may have been trying to turn the water on.
I mean, it very well could be. Shawn's short, but he was
his night to wash the dishes.
Yeah, but he was on a ladder about 9 foot up, from what I understand, and fell head first and shoulder first on the concrete and caught his hand and broke his wrist and his leg and
wow.
Dilly did a number. I mean, it was 5 or 6 days after surgery. He qualified the car. Well, I don't know if he qualified. I can't say that. I don't know if he qualified it, but he started in the back and ran about 12 laps until his wife made eye contact with his crew chief, and then it was like
he was only supposed to take the green and then come into turn 1 and be done. But he ended up about 12 more laps, and that was 11 more laps than his wife wanted him to take.
Terry wanted, yeah. So it was interesting to watch that, and I was like, damn, is he gonna pass him? I'm really surprised because they had a caution right after they took the green on the race there that night.
Yep.
And I'm really surprised. Although I don't think Shawn, Shawn drives for somebody else. I think I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah, I'm not either.
I'm surprised they didn't put somebody else in the car and let him get some points. But then again, you got to worry about somebody tearing your car up and then having to worry about fixing it. But the one thing is his future son-in-law is second in points that he had the 20-some point lead. This is kind of his team car. So, what?
His son-in-law?
Future son-in-law.
Future son-in-law. Well, that's a new tour, and I didn't even know nothing about that.
Yeah. He proposed, I guess, earlier this year, and I don't know what the date is, but I can't even remember his name.
I wouldn't wreck my son-in-law.
Shit. Shawn would. I can tell you that. I remember back in the day, man. It was I worked with Barry Strathman, and Shawn, Barry, and Buddy Dozier. Buddy Dozier's dad used to own Beach Taxi, and Buddy had 1 foot shorter than the other, so he walked around with his brace and a shoe that had like 2 inches added to it. And every week, the three of us were tangled up in some corner, piled up somewhere. Every week it seemed like for a while. And finally the officials come over and was like, y'all three, every week. Can you just give each other some room? And I remember Shawn came over to Barry one time and was like, you ain't no Dale Earnhardt. Of course, that didn't go over well, but we had a lot of fun racing back then.
We're going to try Shawn again. Maybe he's out of the bathroom now.
There'll be strike 2 on Shawn.
Shawn, can I help you?
Hey, Shawn, this is Scott Courthouse. Zach Dodsons Racing Insider News. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Man, we're doing great. I was just reminiscing on some stories from back in the day. I used to help Barry Strathman back in the late model days. I told him that it seemed like every week there for a while it was you, Barry, and Buddy Dozier were tangled up in some corner about every week at one time.
That's been a long time ago.
Now, I want to know how in the world you have managed to get in that race car last week and a couple weeks ago when I was over there. I wasn't there last week. How you got in that car and was able to do the things you did?
Well, let me tell you, I bite the bullet 2 weeks ago. That was really tough. This past week wasn't so bad. Just my ribs and broke arm. But just getting out of the place. Sorry. The broke arm was a little bit sore, but the broke ribs are killing me.
So I got
you got to do what you got to do, right?
That's
We're
right.
trying to win a championship.
Right. What did your crew chief tell you the race before when you were running about 12 laps in when Terry looked like she was pacing in front of your trailer? It looked like she made some.
You better get your butt in here. Your wife is going to kill you in a minute.
We were kind of laughing. I was like, Terry was pacing there. I said it was just some. I think it was just some eye contact to the crew chief, and then he reached for the radio, and then Shawn came on in.
And that's exactly what happened. She was getting mad because I told her I was only going to run 1 or 2 laps, and then we remembered that we had the issue with the tire roll that we needed to run half a race. To get that done, and then she didn't know that.
So you had a good excuse.
Say that again?
I said you had a good excuse.
Yes, absolutely. Well, you picked up some more points, but I knew I had to come in. I knew I wasn't going to be able to make the full race, so I figured I'd come on in and just make everybody happy. That's for me.
So Shawn, what all have you? Huh?
I said you can hear me all right now. Much better.
Yeah. So what all have you driven? Because you've kind of driven a little bit of everything, and as long as I can remember, you've been out at Langley Speedway.
We've been out there for 30 years now. I got 60 plus wins so far. We got about 16 late model wins. We finished second in late model points. We all racetracks, like that 5 times, and got 7 championships with modified and 1 national.
Wow.
So we've done a few.
Yeah, you definitely. I would say back in the day, we used to love to listen to you guys on the radio because y'all had the most fun.
Oh yeah.
Is it still that?
Sing to my daughter or something like that.
Now, I just found out a minute ago, Shawn, that you're racing against your future son-in-law. Now, how does that work out? Because I'm not sure I could race against my son-in-law.
TJ's a really good guy. He just asked my daughter to marry him. I guess it's been a month now. They've been together for 5 years-ish. And his father actually races against me. And TJ works on both our cars. So he's a great guy. I like him. And can't say enough about him.
Well, what all now? How long are you going to be incapacitated with your arm and everything. I mean, I know you're still running all the races, but how long will that be that you'll be fully recovered from all that?
Well, it depends who you talk to. If you talk to me, I should be good in about 2 more races. If you talk to my doctor, she says 6 months.
Oh my goodness!
I think I should be about 90% in about 2 races, and then I should be maybe 100% in about 4 races, just by the end of the season. I can't grip the wheel with my right hand. I've got a brace on. They put a big plate in there with 8 screws in it, and I can't turn my wrist at all. They won't let me flex it none. So we had to put a different kind of brace together so I could at least drive. This brace that they give me from the doctors is big and bulky and real pain. But the other one's a little bit smaller and allows a little bit of a twist to the wrist. The doctor doesn't like it, but I don't tell it.
Well, you know, one of the things that I got to say I admire you for, you've had a lot going on the last few years. I know you had some problems year before last or last year, whatever it was, and then you come back this year and have this problem. You are dedicated to racing, and you know, it's amazing that you get back out there and do that stuff like you do.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I just not ready to quit just yet. Close, but not quite ready. You know, it's what we do. It's what we've always done. You know, I don't know. I don't know what. I wouldn't go fishing or anything else. So I don't know what I do when I quit.
You'd still be at the racetrack in some way, shape, or form.
Probably. I wouldn't mind getting involved more in the promotions end of it, I think. I thought about maybe working towards an official type of thing, but I don't know. It's not too much me. I think more of a promotions area I would enjoy.
So how did you get started in racing, Shawn?
I had a garage in Norfolk back when I moved down here in the 70s. And in the early 80s, I ran into a guy that I always wanted to do some form of racing, and I was doing what they called back then the one-on-one, and which is the Wacky Wednesday type of thing now. And I started doing it with my Dodsons, and I used to have a Volkswagen and foreign car repair shop. And I had seen a couple of the Saturday night races. And I said I wanted to try that, so I bought a Grand Stock and ran that. Won Rookie of the Year my first year, and then the next year I wanted to run a late model because I thought the Grand Stock was too much like a stock car, not a race car. So I got the late model, and we ran the late model up till I guess it would have been 12, and then decided to sell that because the cost had gotten out of control, way more than I could afford to be competitive like I want to be. And then, but before that, in 06, I got into the modified, and I was running both of them for 5-6 years. And it was a lot of work, a lot of family time gone, and decided to pick one and like modifying.
So you talk about the late model and how expensive it's got. Does it blow your mind how, I mean, I know what we used to spend back 20 years ago, and what it costs to run up front today is just astronomical.
Sure, right.
It's
all about rules. The problem is, for instance, with motors, you got to spend $30,000 to get 411 and 3/4 horsepower, and 3 more horsepower makes a difference. Where with modified, you spend about $8,000 to get about 550 horsepower, and if you have 525 or 550 or 575, really doesn't make any difference because we're on 8-inch tires, and you can only get so much of it down to the ground.
Is that where the big expense in the late model comes from? Is just motors?
That's the biggest expense, at least for me. because with the late models, I'm able to do everything else except for the motor.
Mm.
And with the modified, again, we built Body Creek built this chassis, but basically we build our own chassis and do our own stuff anyway with whatever class we're in. And then we have to purchase our motors or have somebody supply our motors.
Now, how many different crew chiefs have you had, or has Dave been pretty much your crew chief forever?
Yeah, Alan Hopkins is now. He came over from Super Streets and Todd Van Gelder and that kind of stuff. And David hasn't had the time to dedicate that he needed to. But he's still spotting for me. He's always spotted for me. He's a great spotter. He started with me when he was 15, I think. And he's been with me ever since.
Now, Shawn, you race out at Langley. I know you've raced at South Boston some this year. Is it basically going to be just Langley the rest of the year with everything going on?
Yeah, there, and we got one more race at East Carolina. We're leading the points with East Carolina also.
Oh, okay.
We won all the races down there this year. Both of them.
Oh, both.
Yeah, and next year we're going to try. Are you still there?
Hello?
Hello.
You
I'm still here. Sorry. Don't truck. Are you there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Can you hear us?
I think we're gone.
Well,
that was informative until the thing cut off.
yeah, it
I
was.
was wondering what he was going to say about what he was going to be trying next year. Because that's what he was getting ready to say. That they were going to be doing something else. I wonder if he's going to mess with the Southern Modified.
I wouldn't think. I don't know.
Still expensive.
Is it that
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know what the difference between their modifieds and the Southern mods. I mean, I don't know if the mods they run here are the same as they run down at like Bowman Gray and
Well, Chris
stuff.
was saying something about the Southern mods. The difference between that and the regular season was what? The rear ends, right?
The rear end and the motor.
Yeah.
Or was the motor the same?
Motor was the same. I think
Rear
it
end
was more
and
of the rear
tires.
end.
Oh, the tires was
Yeah,
the big.
width-
That was
yeah,
the tires.
The
yeah.
width of the tires.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That'd
I
be
guess it wouldn't be that big a deal to
That's pretty
Just
good.
run.
You can go down there and run 3 races and win a championship at East Carolina. And you win all 3. And I was going to ask how many cars race.
Well, they've never had a lot of cars. I've never been down to, because originally it was Robertsonville.
Yeah. And it's a neat place.
I've never been there.
It's really a neat place.
Track.
Yeah, it's really a nice place. But it was an outlaw track a few years ago when we went down there. When I went with Victor and those guys down there, it was kind of an outlaw track that you didn't have any affiliation. And
Well, it's always sort of had that outlaw, because
Well,
it's
I think
never
this
been in
year-
a sanctioned track.
this year, I think they're more organized than what they have been in the past.
And they used to pay well.
But
Because a lot of people go down there because of that.
You talk about Shawn winning 3 races and winning a championship. A few years ago at Southampton, my last year that I raced in mini stocks at Southampton, they busted the mini stock class up into 2 divisions. They made it the mini modifieds and the regular 4-cylinder modifieds. Now there wasn't a whole lot of difference in the 2 cars. So when we went and registered, I said, well, I'm gonna register for the 4-cylinder.
Call from 7 5 7 7 7 5 5 5
Go ahead.
0 1.
It'll cut.
Say answer or ignore.
You there?
Yeah, hey, Shawn.
Sorry about that. These newfangled trucks with the Bluetooth on it. I mean,
You got out of the truck.
Switched over.
All right, you were talking about
Switched over to cut you off.
we're hanging in there with I don't know what we got, but you were talking about what you're going to do next year. Tell us about what next year is going to bring.
Don't know yet. My whole life I've been healthy as can be, and then I had the heart attack, and then I had this fall. Now I'm tired. But I'm not ready to quit yet. So more than likely, regardless of what happens with the championship this year, we'll probably run one more year. And then, of course, I'll probably say I'll run another year. I don't know. Don't know yet. Depends how much pressure I get from the family.
Okay, well, I couldn't imagine going to Langley and not seeing Shawn Balluzzo out there.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
I mean,
I enjoy it. I try to put on a good show for the fans, and we'll see. We're working on the car hard now. Don't like finishing second. Second sucks. So hopefully next week we'll be a little stronger, and swapping motors tonight. I don't think my arm really had much to do with finishing second. We just got whooped by Robbie. So we're going to have to do some whooping back.
I will say it's been fun the last couple of years to watch you, Robbie, and Jimmy Humlet dominate that division. Yeah, it's been fun watching you guys race each other. All you guys have been around for a while. I ain't gonna say forever, but been around the sport for a long time, and it's been fun watching you guys. There for was it 3 or 4 years ago, you sort of completely dominated the series there. I know it was a little boring.
Yep.
Well,
I'm glad, and I talk about it all the time, I'm glad we've got some real good competition now, because it just gives us more to strive for, and it's no fun when you really, it's no fun to win every week.
Yeah.
Even though you like it, it's a lot more fun to work for.
Right. All right, I got 5 random questions I'm going to pick out the thing to ask you. What's your worst habit? Racing?
What's my worst habit?
Yeah.
Biting my fingernail.
Biting your fingernails? That's a good one.
Yeah.
Have you ever played a practical joke on somebody?
Not very often. I'm pretty serious. No, I can't think of any that I have.
Really? That surprises me. With the way you guys used to talk on the radio back in the day, that surprises me.
Yeah, not much.
What's your favorite TV show growing up?
Oh, Star Trek.
Star Trek. You're a Trekkie, huh? And what CD is in your car?
I don't have any CDs. I listen to XM.
XM? Well, you're about like us. I was going to say an 8-track, but...
And probably the...
Now, if I had to pick music, it would be Andrea Bocelli.
Okay, I don't know who that.
All right, well, none of us up here know who that
Well,
is.
I think Joe does.
I know who he is.
Yeah, I listen to Andrea Bocelli and Michael Bublé and
Okay, well, I know that.
the Free Centers and none of that country music crap.
Okay, all right.
All right, let's see. We got one more question. What's your favorite flavored potato chips?
Salt and vinegar.
Salt and vinegar. Yeah.
That seems to be the going thing.
Yeah.
The second one since we've been asking the question.
Yeah, when I was a kid, there was no such thing as salt and vinegar in the States. And I'd jump on my bike and ride across the bridge to Canada, and they had salt and vinegar chips. And
really?
that was 40 years ago.
Wow.
And they never had it around here. So.
That's interesting.
Well, Shawn, we appreciate your time being with us tonight. It's been great talking to you. I've always been a fan of yours out there in Langley, and I've even seen you at Southampton a couple times. But
Yep.
really appreciate you taking time to be with us. If you want to thank your sponsors or anything, we'd like for you to go ahead and do that now.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Heartsong for all their support. They do a great job, and Gene Nichols, my partner with the car, he supports a lot of people out there with carburetors and rear ends and that kind of stuff. So, really appreciate all the crew and the wife, kids, and yada yada yada.
All right. Well, we'll be looking at you this weekend. Hope you have a good run.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the call, guys.
All right. Well, we'll be out there watching next week.
Get better, Shawn.
Thank you. We'll be there. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Shawn has been around for a while, and he is great for the sport. And it was boring a few years ago. I mean, there was nobody in the same zip code.
Really?
I mean, it was you could have just, there was no need to watch the race. He won it.
Call from 757775550.
Hello?
1 Say answer or ignore.
Hello? Hello, hello? You must have butt dialed us. Yeah.
Okay, see you later now.
he just dialed us by accident. Shawn butt dialing us. All right, so let's do some predictions of the week. We got a road course this weekend. You got any predictions for this weekend?
My prediction for the weekend. My prediction for the weekend, Jeff Gordon.
Really? You're gonna go, man? He's going out. You're going out on a limb on that one.
Jeff Gordon.
I wouldn't.
That was based on what?
Jeff he does really good at Watkins Glen. He's not very good at Sonoma. He's not very good at Sonoma.
Right.
But
he's won at both, right?
He's won at both, but his finishes are a whole lot better at Watkins Glen. Is
that the faster track?
No,
no, it's the slower track
it's
where you got to do a lot of braking.
So I really think that this is going to be. It's going to be if he's going to win one,
it's going to be.
It's going to have to be this weekend, because I think it's going to be tough as you go a little bit further into the season, getting closer to Richmond. People are going to get a little crazier.
It is. I think when Richmond gets here, I think we got to start doing some predictions of who's going to make it in the next round, who's the guy to watch, or pick somebody and let's do a little points battle between the three of us.
Well,
and see who wins in the end.
I tell you what, let's do. When we get down to the 16, we'll set up a sheet, and we'll all pick our guys out of the 16 and how we're going to do, and see who's going to get there.
Yeah, so we'll have to stay tuned for that. And
Lenny Bataki just sent me a message. He said he's sorry. His son came home sick, and he missed it. And he said, "How can I make it up to you guys?"
Tell him approve our hot passes for Charlotte when we come in August. All right, so you're saying Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon this week.
Any dark horses you want?
Dark horses? If I had to pick one dark horse guy out of the field that may have a chance to win that race, I'm going to go with Kyle Busch.
You know, I will say he shocked me in the other one. I did not see him as a road course win.
I didn't either. But I would, I think he's in that mode where he wants to.
I think he's. Yeah. The only thing that I don't know is going to happen, which is he has a trend to not run well in the chase. Is he kind of peaking out early and then going to fade off?
That's what a lot of
the
people are
chase.
saying. He's peaking way early, but he has to do it. I mean,
right.
You don't have an option right now.
In the situation he's in, that's what he's got to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick Clint Boyer. Clint needs a win, and those guys are getting better. I think the whole crew – I didn't see the whole crew swapping or the crew chief swapping thing being that big of a benefit, but it seems to have worked over there. For whatever reason, they're probably still doing the same things, but it tends to seem to be working. Those guys, he finished, I think, 8th this weekend. And those guys are running better. He's back in the chase. He's got a 20 or 40 point.
It's got 20-something.
20-point lead over, but that's going to change when Kyle Busch gets into the 30s and knocks back down. Then he's going to be the guy on the bubble. He's 15th now. A dark horse, man. I don't. David Reagan probably. I mean, those guys have run well.
Yeah, they run good.
And he did well, or was running well at the road course last time.
Well,
so I'm gonna pick those two. What do you think, Joe?
Well, mine wasn't going to be the dark horse. Mine was going to be he was going to win, and that was Kyle Busch, because we talked about it last week that he has something to prove.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he had some misfortune last week, and I think that if he would have backed up a little bit, he would have won, and he would have carried that momentum on to the next race.
Now, do you have somebody as a dark horse?
Dark horse?
I will say I would like to see the 47 win. I mean, he will probably run well.
That'll be a spot where he'll really run well.
I don't really have a dark horse. I thought about it when we asked the question, and I can't really put a name to it right now.
And I can't wait to the Xfinity race on Saturday. Boris said it's going to be in Kyle Busch's Monster Energy.
Boris, he makes it exciting. He ain't scared to use the bumper.
No.
No.
He is fun to watch on a road course, for sure.
I've been telling the joke for a long time. It's really fun after one of the Watkins Glen races for like a month after. I saw my son on Sports Center just about every week. I mean, every day. I mean, it was just like every day.
Because he
was right there when Boris Said got into the fight with, I forget who it was now.
I don't remember. I remember.
Oh, it's Greg Biffle. It was him and Greg Biffle got into the fight at Watkins Glen. And Lee was right in the middle of it, and you kept seeing Lee. And it's kind of funny. I said, there for a while, every time I saw Lee, it was always in a fight.
Right.
Because he was there when Kurt Busch went off at Darlington. He was right in the middle of it. And he was there last year when at Texas. He was right in the middle of it. So it's kind of funny. I mean, it's
Yeah. All right. Well, we had a good show.
great show.
We'll see who wins out of the predictions. Who has the best finish out of Gordon, Clint, and you got Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch.
So tune in next week and we'll see who won.
And hopefully we'll get Lenny Bataki with us next week. I'll reschedule him for next week.
Yeah, Lenny's interesting. I don't know if people didn't know who Lenny is. He's been around. He's done about everything there is to do in the sport besides maybe clean the bathrooms.
Yeah.
He worked at Gateway. He was a president at Richard Childress Racing, another nationwide team throughout the years. Broadcasting Charlotte Motor Speedway. So it'd be interesting to see his aspect of racing there. So
And next week we'll also have the guy who finished second in the Eldor truck race, Bobby Pierce. He's going to be on the show with us next week.
So if you got any questions that you'd want asked by either one, submit them to Jack Dodson's Facebook page, Jack Dodson's Racing Insider News, and we'll get those answered for you.
All right, we'll get them.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next